Hi, this is Gingersnap. I'm Lisa Redfern, and this is Erik West. And what is Gingersnap? Gingersnap is a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer. And today, I cast the net wide when thinking about creativity because I think it's very creative to live in Maine and make a living. You have to be creative to live in Maine and make a living. And one of the ways that Erik West has made his living is through his company called Meet Your Bike. And so, Erik, tell us a little bit more about Meet Your Bike.
All right.
I love that name.
I know, it works well. So Meet Your Bike is basically a business that helps people learn to ride their bikes more confidently and maintain them if they want. So it's the fixing part and the riding part.
Are a lot of people kind of have a hard time with that?
Most people can't fix their bikes,
I can't
which is
fix
fine.
my bike.
And then a lot of people that want the fixing part are the people who say, well, my tools are my cell phone and I call my husband. Because a lot of my clientels are, probably 70% of the people I work with are women.
Okay.
Men don't ask questions. They don't want to know. They don't want to say, could you teach me? So they don't often take it. Some do, which is great. And then the riding piece is people who feel like cars are scary. I don't want to do it. So, I mean, I'm trained to take them right out into traffic if we want to, and I do teach that a fair bit. But usually people are a step back from that. Yeah. And then it's all over the map with what I've gotten to teach over the years.
Because sometimes you're on the wrong, I can never quite find the right seat for my seat because I have a big seat. And so I never can find a bike that's comfortable. So I should call you and say, Erik, help me out with my bike seat.
It is
and find the right height and the right position and
totally.
All that.
Yeah. And something as simple as my seat doesn't feel good will mean people won't ride at all. Yeah. Because then you're like, I don't want to ride that bike, you know. And instead it's like, well, you can fix that, and then you can ride. Yes. So it's usually it's basically getting people over these little hurdles. Yep. So they feel better, like, oh, okay, I get the car thing. I don't have to go play in traffic, but I understand what that means. Right. I understand how to get through an intersection, and it's everything. It's like I taught a group the other day who's riding from Portland, Maine to Santa Barbara over the summer. Whoa! So 30 students. They're called Bike and Build, and they're gonna ride across the country. And a lot of them are totally new college students. So they needed you to like review stuff and go over everything. Here's how to not get run over. You know, here's all the stuff. Here's how to not die on your way to California, y'all. Right. And then 2 days ago, I taught a 10-year-old how to ride a bike. Aww. And then when I mentioned that to someone else, they were like, "Oh, I don't know how to ride a bike. Can you teach me?" And she was 27. So really? That's not uncommon. That's so cool. Wow. So it's all over the map of like riding, and then the fixing is, I'm afraid of getting flat, so we cover that. And so where do you typically go? I mean, do you go to schools, camps? I've taught in schools a ton, but usually what I do for Meet Your Bike is I teach at people's houses, or the Portland Gear Hub is a teaching space, and they have a shop set up, and so I go in and teach classes there too. So you're like the bike version of the country doctor. You make house calls. Make house calls. Bike calls. Right. I love it. All right, so tell everybody what your website is. It's meetyourbike.com. Perfect. All right. Pretty simple. Cool. So Erik, what brought you, either you can talk about what brought you to Maine originally or what brought you back to Maine recently. So I have been in Maine for, I think, 17, 18 years, except the last 2. And while I was here, I was teaching, but I had other full-time jobs, so I wasn't doing Meet Your Bike all the time. I was totally on the side, since we have this thing called winter, which doesn't really, it's not super conducive to that. But then I went to California, and Northern California is amazing, and has this fantastic climate, and a zillion people on bikes, and no one was really teaching what I do, which blew me away. Even in San Francisco and Berkeley, none of those places. So I started Meet Your Bike full-time there. But then after about 1.5 years, 2 years, I really wanted to come back here. My kids liked this place. It's a good place for my kids to be. It's familiar. And California, as amazing as it was, just wasn't the spot for them. And so we're back here, and that requires being creative. So Meet Your Bike in the summer is easy, big. And then Meet Your Bike in the winter requires a lot more creativity. Yeah. You might have to do like Meet Your Sled or Meet Your Snowmobile or something like that. People are like, can you ski? Can you meet your skis? All right. So, Erik, well, we're glad you're back. Maine is glad that Erik and his kids are back. Yay. So, do you know your first word? And if you don't, what do you think it might be? Okay. So I saw that you were going to ask that. So I called my mom this morning because I had no idea. And she said, I think it's no. And I was my dad. He goes, I think it was no. And she goes, no, wait. It was Riley. And that was my dog.
Oh.
So it could have been Riley, could have been no, could have been Mike, which is my brother. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Riley.
Or no Mike.
Which would have actually been like Riley girl. Because I couldn't say girl, so it would have been like girl. Riley girl.
Riley girl.
So I think it was more like a Riley girl.
That's good. Oh my gosh. Well, my first word was cookie, and so that's one of the reasons I like cookies. And so I decided on this show I wanted to feature a local cookie. And I have a great cookie story before we eat the cookie. I went over to Isabella's bakery here in Freeport, and I talked to the owner, Kate Maynard, and she said, I've got a great cookie story for you. And so she said, the cookie I want you to try is the bacon molasses cookie. So no problem. And so it's not made with bacon, but it's made with bacon fat instead of butter. So where you'd put in butter, you make some bacon the day before, you save your bacon fat, and you put it in these cookies. So this is a 200-year-old recipe, and what happened was Joyce, there's a writer named Joyce Maynard. Hi, Joyce Maynard. This is Kate Maynard. Kate owned a place called Stone's Cafe in, I think, Yarmouth or Falmouth. And she said that a guy came in who was a regular customer, and he said, you know what you should start baking? You should start baking my great Aunt Ida's bacon fat molasses cookies. And so she has been making these for 10 years. And now we're going to show you here. I know, I did this one other time. This is bigger than it's my head. Frisbee. It's a Frisbee. This is huge. So we're going to, we're going to taste these right here, right now. Oh my gosh, you can smell the bacon fat.
These are so good.
These are very good.
And
really
they're like
creative.
Soft.
Oh my god. Wow, this might be.
That's really good.
This might be one of my favorite cookies ever.
Can we just stop and eat these now?
Oh yeah. Yum, yum, yum.
And it's got bacon in it, so it's like a breakfast cookie.
It's a breakfast cookie. Oh, it's so good. All right, Eric. So, what book do you find, book or books, do you find yourself most often recommending, like in the last couple of years?
We know so many people come to me for their.
I know. Meet your bike and your book.
Recommendations.
Meet your book.
What book should I read? All right, so that's not typically me.
Still, anyway.
Okay. So I just read an awesome book, which I would recommend, which is A Time Traveler's Wife. So I read it with my girlfriend. It was awesome. Then I saw the movie, which is like barely the book, but super good, romantic, and pretty crazy, the whole time traveler piece. So love it. Really hard to read the first part, and then got into it and was like, this is worth
the hard work of getting into it.
Yeah. And it does not translate to film at all.
Did you guys read out loud?
We actually read it out loud to each
other.
Oh
my God, that's so sweet and old-fashioned. That is great. I love that.
It took like 6 months to do that.
That's why you can only recommend the one book. It just takes so long.
It's taken my entire life to read that one book.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then moving on. Okay, Eric, I know you love vehicles of all kinds. What car from your childhood did you love and wish you could get back? And if you could get back, you would.
You know, if I have to go to my childhood, it's not a car.
Okay.
It's a motorcycle.
Okay.
Because when I was 9, I got to ride motorcycles with my neighbor. And we had these little Honda Mini Trail 50s. And there were 3 of them. My neighbor had 2, and my other neighbor had 1. And 3 9-year-olds on motorcycles in Arizona was awesome. And totally hooked me on motorcycles for my whole life. So.
Okay. Do you have a motorcycle now?
No, I'm in between motorcycles, how I put it.
Yeah.
I've had many and will have more.
You and my brother. In between
Yeah.
motorcycles. And Peter, I think, too. Okay. Anyway. Okay, now moving on to music. Is there an album or a song that you go back to again and again as kind of like a touchstone?
You know, I thought about that, and there's been so many changes in my life over time that music has changed with it.
Right. Sure.
You know, the listening to The Who when I was a kid, and then listening to whatever crazy stuff I listened to in the 90s. And then...
We just won't even mention.
Which we're not even going to mention because, Madonna in the 90s, I don't even want to admit to, but of course was totally smitten with. Okay.
Really? Wow, yeah. I do not make that.
And then there was the mystical California kirtan stuff, which is all great.
Yeah. I don't know if that's your cookie or mine.
You're going for the cookie.
But is that your cookie on the top?
Okay,
or
that's my cookie.
I admit it. I was trying to eat the cookie while you're talking.
I know. Now I want to eat the
I'm listening. All right. God, look at that. Crazy.
It's huge. So I think the one album that keeps popping up it's not an album, but it's The Who, the band The Who. They've stuck with me forever. And I don't listen to them that much because they represent a time period. Yep. But they feel good.
Quadrophenia particularly? Or just
no, Quadrophenia is too dark. I don't remember the album, but it was a lighter version of The Who. I never remember band names or song names. Like even now, that does not stick. But if you sing it, I'm like, oh, I know that. And then I know the words to it. But I couldn't tell you who sang it or what it's called. Okay.
Well, we all have our gifts. That's not one of yours.
That is not one of my gifts, for sure.
All right, Eric. So, everyone loves movies. Everyone fantasizes about having a movie made about their life. Or maybe not everyone. Maybe no one. But anyway, if a movie was made about your life, what genre would it be? And who would you like to... Okay, I've heard this answered in two different ways. Who would you like to have play you, and who do you suspect would be cast as you are sort of two different people.
It's just also not my world. All right, so...
Just take a stab
I would say romantic comedy, because that's kind of...
Okay,
I have a pretty strong romantic streak. So we can do that in comedy. That all makes sense. And it's been a wild ride. So there's lots of... Oh, right. No, there's a lot of material there that we could play with. Yeah, but I've had people say, "Oh, you look like the guy from the Blue Lagoon because of my hair," which would not be. Okay,
who is that guy?
I have no idea. He probably
Brooke
did
Shields,
one movie.
and he probably did. That was probably it. Yeah.
Right. I think that's just my hair. Then somebody said I looked like Will Ferrell, which would kind of be good.
Yeah.
But then they said I looked like a cross between Will Ferrell and George Bush, which I don't actually agree with.
Oh no.
So I don't really know where to go with that.
So you can email me, or you can email Eric and just say, actually, dude, here's who you look like. I'm actually still thinking. I didn't think about this for you. I should have. Okay, I'll keep thinking. So anyway, it's time to wrap up Gingersnap. And look at this, by the way, look at this cool bike behind us.
It's a very cool British bike.
Really, really cool. Who makes that bike?
Pashley. Yeah, I was just working on that for a friend.
Awesome. Okay, so you can call Eric if you need to meet your bike. Not your maker, not yourself. You need to meet your bike. You want to meet Eric and tell him what movie star he looks like, or what combination of... You can reach him through Meet Your Bike. If you want to know more about me, I'm Lisa Redfern, and you can learn about my music and where I'm singing. And, I have a long list of creative folks in Maine who I'd like to interview. But if you think you're one of them, call me up. Maybe I haven't thought of you. And my website is lisaredfern.com. And thanks, Eric. This was really fun. And, okay.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for the cookie.
Welcome. This has been Gingersnap.